Hi, my name is Miss Maciel, and I am a grade 2 teacher at Autumn Hill Public School. This is my first year getting a permanent position for a teaching job, in which I was very excited for and about due to supplying for 5 years. This year, I have had a child with an exceptionality of a diagnosis of ADHD, where the parents had a conversation with me at the beginning of the year about. They also told me that she just recently got a diagnosis and she is prescribed with the medication from her physician. Since it was my first year teaching and coming across a child with ADHD, I was a bit worried because I want to provide all the help and strategies I can as an educator for this child without overstepping my boundaries or doing something wrong. Before I go into the rest of the story about Christine, I want to give you guys a brief definition of ADHD and the symptoms. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, where it is a mental disorder of the neurodevelopmental type. It is characterized by problems paying attention, excessive activity, or difficulty controlling behavior, in which I feel is not the right way to put it. Symptoms do vary, and not every child will exhibit the same. Symptoms include externalizing and internalizing behavior such as noncompliance, aggression, emotion regulation, anxiety, problematic peer relations, and low academic achievement. They have behavioral, social emotional, and learning problems in addition to their core ADHD symptoms. Now, in continuation to my story, Christine would experience a symptom of inattention where she would get distracted very easily by her surroundings and the world around her. When she is completing work that has to be done in class, she tells me that it is very hard for her to focus because there are many things that are crossing her mind, such as dogs, flowers, TV, and the time. Another symptom that Christine exhibited was hyperactivity, and which would occur a lot during class circle time and when I'd be teaching the class. She would get up and start running around while yelling. Also, Christine would fidget and blur out comments at inappropriate times. Another symptom that Christine would exhibit is that she would be impulsive towards her peers, where she would say and do things that would upset others without thinking. Through this, it resulted in her receiving low grades, and when I would observe the children during free play activities and outdoor play, I noticed that Christine would be alone often, where I would hear the other children say cruel things to her like, "You're so annoying, you never stop talking, do you ever know when to stop being annoying?" She would start yelling at them and then go to a corner by herself where she would start crying. As an educator, I knew I had to step in and implement appropriate strategies within my classroom to provide the help Christine needs and where her classmates can start to understand the exceptionality of ADHD and perhaps other exceptionalities for them to be aware of. I talked to her parents about the positive strategies and interventions I will be implementing in my classroom due to discussing Christine's behaviors as she exhibits in which they agreed to. One classroom intervention that I implemented was the daily behavior report card for children with ADHD, known as the DBRC. It consisted of Christine's target behaviors that included classroom interruptions, academic productivity, staying seated in class, and behavior in other areas of the school. Before implementing this, I had a discussion with Christine where I told her that I will let her know how she did at the end of each day, where she has even told me that she wants to try to listen and do better with her work. I told her that I believe in her and I know she is able to do this, where she looked very happy. After this discussion, I noticed that when using the daily behavior report card, it helped her a lot where I would write out child interrupts 3 or fewer times during math class, leave seat less than 2 times during each class, does not touch his or her friends, where this tells the child what they did less of and not what they did do. Christine was excited to hear about her DBRC, where we would have great discussions with her parents after school as well. Of course, there were some days that were difficult, but there were more good days due to the other strategies in my classroom that were implemented. I provided children stories that raised awareness about various exceptionalities, and in which one day I was reading to one about ADHD, and Christine openly said, "That is what I have, but that's okay because I am the same just like everyone else." I smiled and said, "Yes, Christine, that's right." In which we all had open discussion about people we knew with an exceptionality where the children named people they knew of what symptoms occurred. Christine was provided with a lot of social support from her parents, teachers, and peers, where we were starting to understand Christine's exceptionality through the open discussions and stories being provided in class. As an educator, I would promote appraisal whenever I saw Christine doing something positive, and I would motivate her with positive comments while she is doing classwork. During silent reading time, I provided books to Christine that she was interested in to help her cope with her emotions, where she would tell me afterwards what the story was about. Also, I provided Christine with a quiet and comfy area to go to whenever she feels she needs to have quiet time, with a breathe in and breathe out chart, along with her favorite books to read whenever. Through the classroom intervention strategies and the social support from her parents and peers, it really did make a difference to reduce the ADHD symptoms of Christine. I strongly believe in inclusion and to promote this in my classroom environment where every child should have the confidence to belong with their differences. My job as an educator, again, is not to override and cross boundaries, but I did have discussions to educate Christine's parents about all the options available as she does take medications as well. Her parents do provide the same strategies at home as I did in the classroom, and they decided to now provide social support for Christine. Now Christine is in grade 3. I see that she has a lot of friends and she is a very happy child. Christine comes up to me every recess and gives me a big hug and says, "Miss Maciel, I miss you and I wish you were my teacher again. Will you be my teacher again next year?" This honestly touches my heart, and I tell her that I miss her and how great of a student she is, and I tell her that I hope that I will be her teacher next year. She is a B+ student where she shows me her work and her parents constantly update me. I love my job as an educator to help my students succeed.